The world has been brought to an unprecedented state of introversion, for many unwillingly so, what with the public workouts and illegal beach parties and pants-on-head negligence of actual political figures.
I'm shaking hands continuously. I was at a hospital the other night where I think there were actually a few coronavirus patients, and I shook hands with everybody, you'll be pleased to know, and I continue to shake hands. And
I swear half of these guys just live by this code of, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you. But ultimately they get away with it because, I don't know, they're wearing suits. Or I guess standing behind a podium. These are things that give people credibility and power, supposedly. So now this usually extroverted lot are being forced to stay in, to limit their physical interaction with other people and resort to tools like chat software and streaming services to fill their time. For me, though, the most interesting shift can be seen in mainstream entertainment. I mean, let's face it, the staples of after-work R&R are going to be on an indefinite hiatus. Local and international sports, live music and comedy tours, which admittedly is going to make my own work season a bummer. Please subscribe, I beg you. And perhaps most notably, late night and variety shows like Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Dean. All right, the last one I made up. Now, earlier this week, I spent one morning, as I have been since shutdowns began, watching TV with my mom. My parents record every episode of Jimmy Fallon as sort of a backup thing for us to watch if we all happen to be free after dinner. And I was surprised to see that between highlights and reruns they were broadcasting, there were actually home-produced programs featuring Jimmy, his family, and whatever celebrity guests they managed to feature with video streams. I mean, it was super bizarre to see the biggest name in late night, this entity that averages millions and millions of viewers ordinarily, resorting to such a humble and DIY format, with means that for the past decade and a half have defined fringe online media that us kids watch. My parents, and likely your parents, being parents, oh man. At this point, they're all way more accustomed to the traditional talk show format, while my brain has been spoiled, altered, and poisoned by whatever I've been watching online for the past 10 years. These old formats and structures, as fun and entertaining as they can occasionally be, simply don't give me what they give older generations of people.
Do you know what else is disappearing from the supermarket shelves? Toilet paper. Ha ha ha, you can laugh now.
Still though, between Jimmy's fourth wall breaking banter with his kids and time-plugging antics like songwriting and selfie stick convos with his wife, I found myself enjoying the show quite a bit more than I usually do. And what's more, so is my mom.
Nancy, is Jimmy a romantic? Please provide examples.
I think you are.
You do?
Yes. Well,
it was at this moment that I realized by making do with what they have, Jimmy and similarly established celebrities are normalizing a means of production that a large portion of audiences, even in 2020, aren't all that familiar with, which in its own sort of way is kind of cool to me. They're adapting in an admirable enough way that just so happens to be congruent with modern sensibilities. And that's not really something I expected to see from these people at this particular moment in time.
Fran, do you want to play the drums?
No.
Okay, perfect.
Now, before you get your torches, pitchforks, and guillotines ready, I'm not being a bootlicking simp who'll just eat up whatever Hollywood or corporate America throws at him. I'm more than aware of the animosity YouTubers have with mainstream legacy programming, the frustration of the creators who make online content what it is getting overshadowed by corporate figures who have the budget and resources to work Google's priorities. So, yeah, chill. I haven't forgotten. But what I'd also like to suggest in this time of generational divide and political hostility, which, mind you, was there even before the quarantine started, that these days in lockdown might very well bridge a gap of understanding for one another. Me personally, I'm seeing teachers, educational staff, 9-to-5 workers, and retired grandparents using video calls in a manner that's not all that different from their kids. The titans of late night are basically broadcasting vlogs, disregarding how the interior is eerily similar to a lot of the stock footage I've been using in this video, and, you know, the multiple Grammy Awards. John Legend's current means of entertaining his audience is not that different from how my cousin is trying to entertain people on Facebook, providing some beauty and background noise to help ease the stress of those who are concerned about our current times. It's little things like this that make you appreciate how few walls there really are between us and them. I mean, said walls are really, really expensive and are constructed mostly if you're able to find the right people who can get you those walls, but my point still stands. And I know, differences in age and background will always leave us with conflicting perspectives, but I'm hopeful these trying months where we're all forced to kill time and connect in a much more similar capacity, we can forge a unity in the pursuit of communication and technologies, helping those who didn't always partake in that sort of thing to at least understand the appeal that it had for us in the beginning. And then maybe, just maybe, someday the boomers will stop asking us why we're so interested in video games and watch other people play video games. I mean, shit, it's not that different from watching football. Comedians are pointing this out every other year, and yet you still keep asking up this question, oh, how could you like something that isn't real? Or why watch something that you could just go do yourself? You're doing the same thing every time you watch the Super Bowl. Oh, I see you PTA types are watching the frickin' World Cup at a bar. Oh, why not just go out into the field next door and play soccer yourself? What's the point in watching other people do it? Do you see my point, or am I gonna have to dedicate this to its own stinking video? I'm sorry, I got a little carried away there. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little existential ramble of mine. Please consider subscribing if this did anything for you. This is Lanooski, signing off, reminding you to wash your hands, drink at home, and please listen to doctors and scientists. Shaking hands is a contest now.